What's up, my fellow limpers? How are y'all doing? Thank y'all so much for coming today. This is my first ever live podcast show, and I am incredibly nervous. So this is, all of you are guinea pigs. I'm trying this out for the very first time, so I appreciate your patience in advance. But now, I'm gonna go take a seat over here. I am going to bring out my guests, Elizabeth Tabish and Patel, who you know as Mary Magdalene, and Matthew from The Chosen. Have a seat. So I knew that Liz and Paris would be excellent candidates to be my first two guests for my live show because I know that how much the Chosen fans love them, but also I love them both dearly. They're two of my favorite people, and yeah, I'm so glad to have you all here with me.
Thank you so much for having us for the first live
course.
Yeah, I feel
recording.
really,
This is amazing.
Really honored, but also really, really nervous. But
Yeah. All of us were saying backstage, or all of the three of us were saying that, like, if we were doing a scene and performing, it would have been a lot easier because then we're
yeah,
not
100%.
ourselves. Yeah. Kind of dive into your childhood a bit. You know, like, where'd you grow up? What was childhood like for you? What kind of kid were you? All that fun stuff.
Well, it's funny because my limp is being confronted right now. I was a really shy child, and I still struggle with shyness today, and now being in front of you guys doing this is kind of ironic. But I was really quiet and never quite fit in. I didn't really have that many friends, and yeah, I just kind of kept to myself. I loved academics, I loved the arts, and in kindergarten, I think, my parents came to our final show, and it was like this big musical thing, and I was unrecognizable, they said. I guess I took to the stage really well, and they were like, is that our child? She doesn't talk at home, but she's singing and dancing and very dramatic. And so from there on, I think I found the stage as a type of platform to express myself in a safe way that felt like nobody could either criticize me or make fun of me, or even though that's literally what we do now as a living, put ourselves out there and kind of be vulnerable. But for whatever reason, in my mind, I was like, this is safe. And then people applaud. It's great. Oh yeah. It's nice. Started doing a lot of like commercial work, which I don't know if anyone's done commercial work. It's not really acting, it's just sort of showing up and smiling and pretending like you have a child and you have a dog and you're feeding them and driving a car that you can't afford. Just barely making it. And I was doing that for about 8-9 years. Not really pursuing the sort of creative goals that I had when I was younger, of wanting to do something meaningful and challenging, and sort of side note, but probably actually why we're here, I was struggling with depression too. I think that came from high expectations and hopes of what life would be like, and like kind of getting knocked down so many times. Acting is a hard profession, you guys. Like, we're rejected more than we're accepted. We are constantly told no. We're constantly told we're not good enough, thin enough, attractive enough, smart enough. You know, people, like, that's all they do is just they look at you and they judge you. And you have to have this really thick skin in order to survive that. And then also every audition you have to completely take off that thick skin and like open up your heart and be as vulnerable as you can be. So there's this like really insane making dynamic where you have to be authentic and then like live in an industry that's just so harsh, and like kind of play the game a little bit of like, that's not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna go home and think about that for the next few hours. Like, you have to like, there's no way to outsmart it. So yeah, I was at a point where I didn't want to do it anymore. The joy of it was gone for me. I couldn't make rent. My agent told me that I booked a commercial and then texted me 10 minutes later saying, sorry, wrong Liz. And I was like, all right, that's a sign. I need to quit. This is clearly not for me. So I told him, I was like, stop submitting me. I'm going to find a job as an editor or something where I don't have to ever talk to people again. And he was like, I'm going to keep you on the roster, and if I find something that I think you'd really like, I'm going to submit you. I was like, oh, fine, but I'm not gonna. And I didn't hear anything for a while, and I was like, all right, time to move on. I moved in with my mom. Thank you, Mom. And then moms are the best. They are. And then I got an audition, and it was for Mary Magdalene / Lilith. I was like, what is this? Weird. And I read the scenes and just broke down in my bedroom. This is a role I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. I mean, this is a dream role. And not just Mary Magdalene as a historical figure, but the Lilith character I connected to so much, this point of despair, and the hope for redemption, the hope for a change, the hope for something really good to happen. And yeah, I connected with it. Really, it clicked, and it was me. And so I went to the audition, and sort of the rest is history. But I look back now, I think it's funny, I guess, or I don't know, beautiful, that a lot of my sorrow and challenges and even depression were the things that helped me get this role. So I'm looking back, I'm like, nothing was a mistake, nothing was accidental. These things that I thought were my weakest points ended up being the things that brought me into the greatest career joy of my life.
I have this list of questions, and you touched on almost everything, so I guess we're done.
Succinct.
Yeah. No, I do want to expand on all of that more too, and dive in a little bit more. But I relate to all of that so much, and I think our three characters on The Chosen, maybe more than any of the characters, there's a lot of us in them, and for everyone in the cast, but there is a lot of specific things to Matthew and Mary Magdalene and little James that are very specific to Paris and Liz and Jordan, and I'm excited to talk about that some more. But I was in a similar boat because I had just had my first child, Ellie, and we were pregnant with our second, and I was like, I can't be a struggling, starving actor anymore. I have to feed these kids, and I have to get a real job, just like you were thinking. And it kind of came at the perfect time. But it's brutal. The commercial stuff, I never booked commercials. I don't think I have a commercial look or something. I just didn't get a lot of commercials. And the one I did book was a national commercial. I won't say the brand because I don't want to get anyone with them in trouble, but it was a national commercial that I booked, and then I was cut out of it because my limp was too prominent in the commercial. And
Tell us who.
I'll tell you off the record.
We won't buy them anymore.
Tag them on Instagram. I grew up in Central Florida in a beachy town, and kind of the same thing. Never really felt like I fit in. I was kind of ignored a lot, so didn't get invited to birthday parties or
You can come to mine.
Thanks. You can come to mine. Everyone's welcome to mine, actually. But making my way in high school, did international baccalaureate program, honors, and all that stuff. And then I remember one year I was in 8th grade, and I auditioned for the drama club, and then I applied for the yearbook club, and I got into both. And then I picked the yearbook club, and then I was like, maybe it's just not my. I was like, why did I do that? But I think I want to perform. I'm not sure. And then
I want you, that just made me think, you said a good Indian boy, I got good grades and everything.
Yeah.
Was it maybe that pressure? Because there is kind of the expectation of you have to have a good career, being a doctor or a lawyer, things like that.
It comes from just
it's more tangible.
Yeah,
traditional,
and then my parents came to this country to make a living for us, and there's just more of the risk and and things like that
Yeah.
involved. But no, that happened in college when I wanted to minor in theater. My parents were like, "No, you don't." And so I did real estate, and I didn't use anything I studied for in college.
Right.
But I went to school at the University of Florida, which none of you are probably from, right? Go Gators! I did finance. And so I know what you're all thinking. Matthew was made for party, yeah. And then the economy tanked. And so I couldn't get a job, and I was in Atlanta. But then the tax incentives broke in Atlanta, like with film and TV. And so that's when I just told my parents, I was like, look, let me just try this again. Let's see how this works. So then I started doing background work for half a year, saved money to put myself into classes and things like that, and then got an agent. And then I booked the very first audition I went out for, which is great, but then I didn't work for a whole year and a half again. So my parents were like, don't do this anymore. Like, this is just rough. And I agree. It was, like you said, it's a lot of just, you got to have a thick skin. And it's just, you're putting yourself out there. You're being very vulnerable. And that's why I think so many people connect to our performances on this show, because you can see, like, us being fully transparent. Like, there's no other way than to be our authentic selves and just be honest in our work, So that's kind of my path. But then I just was, as soon as I did that first project, I was like, this is it, this is me. So I just kept going for it. And then eventually moved to LA and, did all that. But let me just cut to the last 4 years when The Chosen was happening. I was going home to take a trip, just to take a break from acting, because it was just frustrating, annoying. You just want to throw tomatoes at everyone and just, I don't know. I would say so. Yeah, it's just like, hire me. No. But I just taking a break. I like to take a break if I know I'm feeling burnt out or just tired, because it's so important to take care of yourself, especially when it comes to what we do. So I went home, and then one of my friends was helping to cast the show, and she just sent me the whole invite to audition. And it was for Matthew. And she's like, I think you could do a really good job with this. And she sent everything. And I was like, no, I don't want to audition. Like, no. And so I ignored the email for a few days. And then curiosity, got to Paris. So I opened the email, looked at it. I read the first 4 scripts, and I was like, my voice broke, so that's how important it was to me. And I just read the first 4 episodes, and I was like, I want to throw my name into the hat. And then what intrigued me even more was just the idea to play Matthew with, not fully on the spectrum, but somewhat there, and also more OCD. And, earlier that year I had, done some work in a role like that, or just auditioning for that. And so it was just, I was like, let me just see what I can do. And then I auditioned. I sent a tape from Florida. And I think a few days later, my friend was like, did you hear back from Dallas? And I was like, no, why? And she was like, well, he loved your tape. You're probably gonna get the part. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is so easy, And so then I got a call back, and I don't know if you've heard about this, but in that callback, I did it from my place in Florida, but the internet was the worst thing ever. And so the camera froze, and I was in the middle of, it was the Quintus and Matthew scene, just reporting back on Simon, and it froze, and I freaked out. And so I'm just like looking like all on the side to get it to work, and it didn't. And I was like, this is not gonna happen. And so I finished the scene, and I'm like sweating. And then Dallas was like, great, you'll hear from us soon. And then I never heard from him. And I was like, okay, that's Hollywood, or that's just entertainment, yeah. And then a week into them shooting, I got just an immediate offer for the part. They said, oh, they changed their minds and things like that. And they're like, do you still want to do this? And I said, yeah. And so flew out within days and just, started my schedule on The Chosen. And then I met Amanda, Dallas's wife. And she told me it was that moment where I froze and panicked and did all this, was like, that's Matthew. That's got to be that guy. And so it just worked out. So, yeah. Thank you, Amanda Jenkins, for seeing that.
This one's fun. I'm 99 and I love life. Biggest fan of Matthew. And here we go.
Yeah!
And then on the back it says, is Matthew,
99.
and then it says Paris in quotations, married?
I am not married.
Yet.
Do his job.
Yeah.
Or am I? I don't know.
For all three of you, if you could pick a different limp, what would you pick?
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A different limp. So a limp, I guess, at least in the podcast, I've established a limp as something that maybe, it can be anything really. It can be something you're insecure about, something you don't like about yourself. So I don't want any more limps. But yeah,
I'll pass.
Let's start with the first person. Who's the first person we have up there? I'm going to call George.
We don't even know.
Who
Is
you
there
know
any
is
guesses?
John. George Xanthus out first. And if you want to grab a chair, George, when you come out, or a stool. So we've got a couple extra microphones. There's a stand over here somewhere if y'all want to grab a microphone. Next up, it looks like we have Judas himself, Luke Dimian. There we go. There's 5, just so everyone knows, there's only 5 microphones, so we're going to have to share. Next up, we got Noah James, a.k.a. Andrew. Now we got Simon Z coming, it looks like. Now we got Giovanni, who plays Thaddeus. We got Lada Silva, who you know is Eden.
Wrestling show, I love it.
Next up, we've got Amber Williams. Come on out. Who else we got? Okay, and now, wait, no, sorry, Joey, we don't have enough room up here anymore, sorry.
Bye, Joey.
I'm kidding, come on out, Joey. We got Joey Vahedi, a.k.a. Thomas. And is that it? Is that everyone? I think it is, wait, is that it? Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm actually surprised by this surprise. This is a lot.
Yeah, okay,
I love
so-
that you all came.
Oh, look who it is! Come here, hug. So I have a question for you, Jonathan. Hold
Hold on a second.
Don't
Hold on a
Don't
second.
fail.
He loves me, guys. He loves me.
I'm sorry. This is your thing?
It is, yeah. So the question I wanted to ask Jonathan is, who's your favorite apostle and why is it Little James?
It's Matthew.
I thought this was like a raffle for a signature thing. I gotta go.
I have a spot
gotta
right
go.
over here next to me. Okay. I'm gonna pass these out. It doesn't. Everyone's name is on all of those. So pass those down. So on these cards, we have all of our castmates' names that are up here, plus maybe a couple of other castmates too. So I'm going to pull out questions from this hat, and it's who is most likely to blank. Then we all are going to pick the person in the stack that we think is most likely to do that thing. And then we're all going to reveal our answers and explain why we picked that person, okay? So we have more microphones on this side, so I'm going to take one. We can share one. I'm going to pass one over here so y'all can have a microphone as well. First up,
No, I think we've got our duos.
who is most likely to get away with murder?
I'm a bit easy.
We can start down from, okay, let's all reveal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. So who, we got Giovanni, we got Jonathan, Giovanni, Allah, so we're on the same page. Liz, okay. We got Allah, Joey, Paris, and Allah. Okay. I think Allah we did because he's the martial artist and he's the one that can most easily kill someone.
Hold
I
on,
feel like.
no. Jordan, you said who would get away with it.
Get away with me.
Exactly.
I think
Allah would
you
be
could.
way
You're
too
pretty
obvious.
shifty. I think he could get
If
away
he
with
murdered
it.
someone to be like,
So
no, his
gentle.
body's like off a bridge. That was Allah. That
No,
was,
but he's
No, he's
also
so
like an
sweet.
international man of mystery.
Right.
I don't understand.
Wait a minute,
He's too
because
sweet.
Shahar's not here, but I really think we all could probably unanimously agree that it'd be Shahar.
Sure, yeah. If he was here, I would have had his name in the stack, and
Get
yeah, we could
away
have picked him.
with murder.
Allah and they would be a great team of like assassins.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone want to explain why did you pick yourself?
Well, I've been watching a lot of murder podcasts lately, listening to, and I have something of a criminal mind, but I use it for good.
You picked Paris. Can you explain the thought behind that?
Well, I meant Matthew, because Matthew could do anything, the fans would still love him.
Okay.
So I think even murder would be easy.
Tyler and
You're
Dallas
forgiven.
literally said that.
Yeah. Who's most likely to run into a burning building to save someone? Everyone got their answers? Okay, let's reveal. Okay. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Okay. What's yours say?
What?
Cool. So we got a lot of Allah again. Not only would he murder someone and get away with it, he'd also save
He
someone.
would murder someone and then go save them.
Just because he has
From
the
the fire.
physical ability.
Yeah.
He's already there. He lit the fire.
It's fair. That's fair.
Every last one of these guys would run into a burning building to save everyone. They'd like build a ladder on top of each other to make sure they got it. So that's a really difficult question because every single one of them would do it.
Okay. Okay. This one's very specific, and I know we're all going to say the same answer. Who's most likely to fart in the middle of a take?
Wow.
I'm calling someone out.
Difficult.
It's not unanimous, so it can't be
that's-
true.
Part of it is because they weren't there for this scene. So we were doing a scene, and I'm going to let Luke explain what happened. Luke, why don't you tell these fine folks about this instance? This is his limp, by the way.
Hi, my name's Luke, and I fart on set.
Okay, so it was a very dramatic scene after a very long day, after lunch, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Beans.
I was feeling some gastral anomalies, and I was thinking, you know what, it'll pass, it'll be silent, it'll be fine. They call action. I'm like, you know what, it's not gonna. And that wasn't as loud. It was loud. It was louder, but I thought, you know what? It's fine. It's good. The scene's moving. And I look to my left, and all I see is Jordan losing his mind.
I was crying and trying to hold in this laughter. I have never laughed this hard in my entire life.
He looked like he was
perfect
drowning.
Timing too. The fart came at the perfect time. They said, "And action," and so it was before anyone started talking, and I just kind of turned and closed my eyes, and I was chuckling, but I was like, "Don't make eye contact with anyone." And the camera was behind me, so I knew it didn't matter what my face was doing. But then I see Paris and Yoshi crying, laughing too, and then we could all hear each other, which made it worse. So sorry, continue.
By the way, it was so loud and out of order. I thought it was a chair scraping or something. Like, I didn't believe it. That's why I didn't laugh. I'm like, why are you guys laughing? That was a chair. No one would do that when they yell action.
It was also like there's a certain tension that you feel when you know that in 2 pages you have to say one line, but you're like, I can't breathe right now. And so you just hear, the lines are getting closer and you're like, I can't breathe. And Yoshi is like shaking behind me. And I just have to look in Jonathan's eyes like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And that was the whole, it was like a 10
It's like a 10-minute scene.
too.
Yeah. Well, we had been shooting this scene for days in the heat, and we're all sitting there, and there's tons of extras all around us too. And there was moments where it would subside, and then I'd either see someone still laughing and it would come back, or I would think of it and start laughing again. And then as soon as they all cut, Dallas came over, and he was crying, laughing as well. And it's a dramatic scene too. It's not like it's like a scene where we can be laughing.
And also during the whole take, I think it was this thing of where like we didn't know who did it, so I thought it was Noah, and then like everyone had his own interpretation of like, let's not look at that person or this person.
That's off to Luke though for immediately claiming it, because a lot of people wouldn't. So
Claim your farts, bro.
yeah. Who's most likely to lead a protest?
Ooh.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, protest.
What are we protesting? Anything? I'm gonna protest to stop the Luke fart jokes because I think they've gone too far. Yep, there we go. Paris, you'll lead that, right?
Everyone got your answers? Yeah? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
What?
Okay, yeah, a lot of Noahs, some Liz's. I could see both of those. You said Lotta? Okay, explain.
You're so sweet, but there's this feisty, powerful energy in you that, like, if you believe in something, I feel like you would be, like, at the front of the line, you know? Yeah.
Definitely, I agree.
Who else? Oh, so Noah. I said Noah just because I know Noah's very outspoken about his beliefs and his stances, and you're also the loudest of all of us.
That's definitely
so
true.
Pure volume.
You just all you have to do is like use your loud voice, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm on board. So, who is most likely to forget a line?
That's mean. I don't know. Oh, good. Then I'll pick you.
I have the correct answer, by the way.
2. Whoa.
I don't.
That's not my
Wait,
answer.
I don't know if I want.
I saw yours, yeah. Okay. Everyone have their answers? Mine's, yeah. Jonathan, just because he has the most.
He has so many. It's
Yeah.
not even fair.
Okay, why'd you say Joey, George?
So there's a little
joking.
trick that actors do when they get their scripts, when they get sent to them months before shooting starts. They will Control F their name. So Joey, for example, or Command F, a lot of Apple users in here, you would just Command F your name, and whenever Thomas comes up, you highlight it and you go, great, that's my line, and that's all you really care about. Now, Joey forgets that sometimes it says all, or all, for Americans, just basically everyone says that, and so we show up on set and it says all in brackets in prayer, and Joey's like, dude, what line is that? I didn't get given that line. It's because his name isn't in it. And it was a whole prayer. And so I swear if you go to that scene, if you can look in the background, he's just like, where's the night is the prayer. It's like a whole song or something. Don't we all do some...
Joey, we have one
with
of
the
those
Gog and
coming up
Magog
soon.
or something?
George is right. Yeah, there was a day where I had no idea that all of us were speaking. And even Dallas laughed at me at a certain point because we did it so many times. It's like, you still haven't memorized it yet? And I'm just like, no idea.
But then also, wherever the camera was, Joey would find a way to, like, put his back to the camera. Like, no matter what the coverage was, Joey was always facing a little bit away.
Who's most likely to make an inappropriate joke on set? Okay, 1, 2, 3, reveal. A lot of Jordans.
Friends.
I see how it is. We got Joey and George. I think that's pretty accurate. Jordan, Joey, and George. Yeah, that's the top 3. Yeah, okay, I agree. We don't need to even expand on that one.
You know what's funny? I think it's just us.
No,
three
we don't know
making
what's
them in
funny,
the
please.
Yeah. You know what's funny? This inappropriate joke we told. No, there's been a time this season where me, and you have been probably telling inappropriate jokes to each other. So
I think so.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we're the
So,
troublemakers. So I always end the podcasts with this question. I've already had Joey and Noah on my podcast, and George. So they've already answered this question. And for those of you who haven't officially been guests, I'm waiting until your specific episodes to ask this question. So this will give you time to think about it. But Paris and Liz, since we talked a lot about our insecurities and the things that we've struggled with, I like to end on a positive note. So what is the thing that you love most about yourself?
I'm gonna rephrase that and use it to say what I would tell my younger self, who I don't think I loved as much as I should have, and I just want to thank him for building me up to be who I am today. And yeah, that's what I would say.
That's a really good answer.
When you first asked me to, like, prepare me for it, it was immediate in my head that, like, my sense of humor has made the tough times all okay. You know, like, it's a thing that, like, gets you through. But I'm realizing that might be, like, a smaller part of something else, which is resilience. And I think a lot of us as actors have that. We need it, and I don't think I ever saw that that's what was in me, to keep going forward. But I think that is my favorite part of myself is resilience.
And I want to say that, first off, I love every single one of you. All of you are, my tribe. You're my pack. And I think Matthew Lillard, who's an actor, I heard on a podcast say, in this business, if you try to get through it alone, your odds of making it are a lot smaller. Whether it's like mental, you may still have a good career, but mentally it's really tough. There's a lot of stuff you go through and ups and downs. And he compared it to being a gazelle trying to cross the Sahara Desert. If you do it alone, you're most likely going to get eaten or die of thirst, or you're not going to make it to the other end. But if you do it with a pack, all of you are more likely to see the promised land. And I feel that way with all of you. It's been such a pleasure working with you all and getting to know you all and developing these deep connections and relationships with all of you. And I have so much respect and love for each of you as artists and as people. We've all been there for each other through ups and downs and helped lift each other up and encourage each other and support each other. And all of you just being here means so much to me. I love all of you so much. And thank you all for being the best friends I could ask for.
Okay, is there like a bug?
So, I also want to thank all of you. I love everyone that came here and watched the show tonight. Thank you for, again, being guinea pigs for my first ever live podcast show. I hope it was worth it. I had fun doing it. I hope all of you, whatever your specific limp is, can learn to love your limp a little bit more and accept the things that make you different. Because I think that those things should be celebrated. So thank you all so much for coming tonight.